Let's go to the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. Ed Campirano, director of our port. Let's lead in this newsletter, the monthly newsletter. Let's lead with the business park that's under construction, an 118-acre shovel-ready business park. Do you see this business park perhaps hosting some suppliers, maybe raw material suppliers for this massive project, the LNG project that's coming up at the port?
Well, I think that the business park, one, it's inside the Port of Brownsville, so it offers the security that a lot of businesses want as it relates to just ensuring that their facility is going to be patrolled or certainly secure. The other element of it is that it not only offers an opportunity to attract new business to the port, it also offers an opportunity to allow our existing businesses to expand. We've had interest from both within the park as well as outside the park for the facility. Now it is under construction. It does represent multiple tracks depending on the size that the particular business interest has. It does provide certainly access to all the port services, whether it's rail, whether it's access to the waterfront infrastructure. So it does provide an entire logistics opportunity depending on what the particular business interest needs as it relates to supporting its operation, whether it's access to domestic or foreign market for the exporting its commodities, or whether it's for importing commodities that will be used either for domestic or in our case, a lot of what we do supports business in Mexico. So it adds another opportunity for the port to not only expand its existing business, but certainly attract other new industry or businesses to the port. And so it's under construction. It will be fully supported by all the necessary infrastructure. And, we're looking forward to seeing that project completed. We expect to have it done within a year. Construction started, so we expect to see it in operation, fairly within the 12-month period of construction.
Are you getting potential tenants?
Beginning of construction.
Are you getting potential tenants knocking at your door already?
We are getting interest, like I said, not only from tenants from outside the area, outside the port, as well as inside the port.
Okay. I know recently you provided a guided tour of our port to some key economic development folks. So tell me how that went.
I thought it went very well. It's always an opportunity for us to, allow individuals to understand really what happens inside the port. One of the things that you've heard me say in the past is, 911 changed our lives, and certainly the free access to the port was one of those things that is no longer permissible under Homeland Security rules. But taking people who are in the business of economic development, especially in our region, and to show them what we're doing here at the port and how we can also support efforts outside just this port community, but in other parts of the region to support their efforts, I think is always a good opportunity. I think people often, kind of come away just, realizing just the expanse of the activity out here, the kinds of activity that goes on here, and really at the end of the day, the appreciation of the significance and the role the port plays in the region. So that's always good to send people away armed and more knowledgeable and understand just how much this facility means to the region. So, we take every opportunity we can when we have those opportunities.
Yeah, with all the good things taking place at Brownsville with steel, with new energy, liquefied natural gas, and aerospace, all those wonderful things. McAllen mission, with McAllen the lead, working on high tech. We got some chip manufacturing and working on a big project. And I know that for years now, McAllen area, Edinburgh, McAllen, Edinburgh, Weslaco, they took that tour. They sell us as one region as well. and they sell our port, and that would be that access to the sea for exporting any factory, any assembly line, any big manufacturer, high tech stuff they get would be critical for the McAllen area landing a big project, that big project they've been talking about for the longest time. And you guys seem to be working more and more in unison in this region. I know the Valley Partnership, which could be key in providing leadership, working in unison to sell this area.
They were present on that tour as well, and certainly we've been a participant with the partnership for many, many years. So, that whole regional discussion is important to have. But again, I think that especially big industry, large scale development doesn't care where one city ends and another begins. Yeah. They look at it as, what does the region have? How is the region going to support, our efforts? So I think that it's certainly good. It's probably better than it's ever been as far as the regional dialogue and
Agreed.
Working together. We've hit some home runs to demonstrate that it's better to work together than to work independently or compete with each other. Let's get it to the region, and then let's worry about where they land.
Ed Campirano, director of the Rio Grande Valley, Port of Brownsville. And before I let you go, Ed, maybe take just a minute on the reconstruction of one of your docks. I know you received some grant money for that. Tell me how important that is.
Yes. Well, it is very important. I mean, one of the things we're seeing is obviously increased demand for port facilities. And so this is a dock that is well over 50 years old. It needs to be completely reconstructed and built anew. So we received the grant from the state of Texas. We're very grateful to the state legislature. This is the first time that they've actually funded the Port Access, the Port Capital Fund, and funding other port projects in a big way. In the past, that just hasn't been the case. So this past legislative session allocated $200 million for port infrastructure projects. And those are particularly important to us because we're talking about projects that happen inside the gate. In other words, not just the last mile or access to a port facility. So that was critical, and we were able to secure $11.5 million, a little bit over that, for the reconstruction of Dock 3. And all this does is gives us another dock to be able to handle the demand of the occupancy that we're seeing on our docks for multiple uses. This particular location is very strategic. It's at the end of the turning basin, so it offers us support to be able to move a whole host of commodities. So we're excited to get this going. It's needed, and certainly will be put to good use as soon as it's complete.
Just some of the information you'll find in the latest newsletter from the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. Thank you, Chief. We'll call you again. Ed Campirano, director of our report.